Yo, what's going on? Welcome back to another case study. I have here Armaan. How's it going, bro?
Doing good, Kashi. How you doing today?
Doing good, bro. Doing good. Just chilling. Obviously, just for a bit of context, Armaan, how much did you do in commissions last month, bro?
Last month I did about 4K in comms. That's including like my base as well. So all up like 4K.
Hell yeah, bro. Hell yeah. I'm sure like a lot of you guys would want to know, Armaan's journey, how he got from 0 to 4K a month. And how old are you, bro?
I'm 19.
Another 19-year-old, guys. It's actually kind of insane. We just had Jaden on the channel, and now Aman following up. And so, what I really wanted to do was go through like your journey, where you started from, what really changed for you, and what your goals are. I'm sure everyone would love to know. I guess a good place to start would be let's go way back before, high ticket sales, before online money. Where was Arman, bro? Like a couple months ago, even like yeah, 6 months ago.
Yeah, sure. I'll take you right back like a year or two ago, man, when I was back in high school. So I've tried like you probably hear this all the time, like I've tried everything, tried that, tried this. But I've tried Instagram theme pages, tried YouTube automation, and then I went down the typical drop shipping marketing agency route. And I was like, because you need capital for e-commerce. I was like, how do I do this? So I got like another two of my mates and we did it as like a team. So it was three of us. What we would do, we'd do our part-time jobs, save up some money, and then test out products. And we did about 5 to 6 tests over about 6, 7 months. And literally we were at $0. And we probably spent combined, I think 2 to 3 thousand on these tests, and that was just straight down the bin. And then we're like, all right, this isn't working. Let's pick up like a high income skill. I
Yeah,
chose a few.
and like, sorry to interrupt, bro, but I'm sure like a lot
Yeah,
of
go on.
people can relate to that. Drop shipping, e-commerce, like the typical business model that kind of everyone goes down in high school, right? Um, why did you feel like drop shipping didn't work for you, or like why do you feel like it wasn't the best business model? Because obviously you spent money into it and you put your
Mm.
time into it, and you did it with friends as well.
I believe it's to do with skills because drop shipping there's a bunch of skills involved where like you need to be a good marketer. You need to have like a good offer, obviously. Another big one is fulfillment. You need to have that as well. But I wouldn't recommend it for like beginners, whereas I feel like taking upon like a high income skill is much better because you focus on that one skill, you start earning, and then you can start learning more skills and potentially start your own business.
Yeah, it makes sense. And it's cool that you kind of realize that now. I realized it very late after I got into high ticket sales, after I started making money. I realized it a lot later in my journey. But looking back, the reason why e-commerce and these get rich quick schemes don't work is because you have to learn a multitude of skills. Like Aman said, you have to learn sales, marketing, fulfillment, leadership, software, sometimes coding. And these are skills that just most people fresh out of school or even with a degree just don't have, to be honest. And so you did
100%.
dropshipping, kind of just that went down the water. Where did you go from there, bro?
From there, me and my mates, we decided to take on a high income skill. We chose video editing, copywriting, sales, like the typical stuff. And then I chose sales specifically because I feel like it's a must-have skill. And I've always just felt like, yeah, like it's a must-have skill. It's good for your communication, good for like your day-to-day life. And I'm like, all right, let's do sales. Back in October last year, I started doing sales, landed like my first role. I actually invested into like a small low-ticket course by like a big guy in like the info space right now.
I don't want to name
He's
drop.
yeah.
You know,
Yeah. And yeah, I don't want to name drop him. Yeah, so I invested into that, landed like a cold calling role after like 2 months. So in like November, I was on that for like 2, 3 weeks, and then I hopped off that. Just wasn't working out for me. And then like morale was down, just in like a bit of a shithole. I'm like, all right, let's invest into someone who's walked the path and yeah, decided to go on board with you.
Yeah, dude, that's interesting because usually, like, for example, when I started, I had no clue about high ticket sales and I just straight away invested in a mentor. I didn't even give it a shot beforehand. I just invested in a mentor and went down that route. You obviously like tried drop shipping without a mentor with just your friends, and then you like tried to do high ticket sales and you landed like a really shit role. We'll talk about that.
Yeah.
Um, Talk about your experience like not having a mentor because you didn't have a mentor like all that time and then you were doing cold calling and didn't work out. Like break
Mm.
like what was your actual experience trying to wing it on your own? Because a lot of people in
It
this
was it
position.
was horrible, man. As simple as it was horrible. My biggest tip to anyone that's trying to get into like the online world or just business in general is invest into a mentor. Because that's someone in your corner, someone who's walked the path that you want to go walk, right? It's there. I've heard this analogy. It's like if you're trying to become like a boxer, right? You're not going to learn off YouTube. You're gonna learn from like a professional boxer who's had some fights and who knows how to coach you. So yeah, and yeah, it was just a bit of a shithole. Like didn't have a clue what we're doing, just learning off of YouTube and stuff.
Yeah, no, it makes perfect sense. Um, and so you went down the route of winging it on your own, and then you decided to invest in yourself. Walk me through your journey after that, like obviously coming and investing and putting your trust into me coaching you one on one. Like break down your experience because I'm sure a lot of people would want to know, coming from someone who tried it on their own and then actually got a mentor. Like, what was your experience?
Yeah. Oh man, like the first time like we hopped on that call, like me and you, and I actually invested into your program. I was very nervous, but I'm like, it's got to be done. It has to be done. I was very nervous as well.
Yeah, I remember.
And I'm like, all right, this is a big sum of money, but worst case, I'm 19, right? I can make that back, whether I have to go back to like a 9 to 5. And I was just installing like limiting beliefs. I was like, does this work? Is this gonna work? Is this a scam? Has Kashi just scammed me? But yeah, like I believe it all works out, and yeah,
100%. And I think a big factor, like I was thinking, I remember our call very vividly, how nervous you were. But I'm also thinking that you're from the same city as me, right? Perth. And
mm,
so, what was it like seeing someone who's from Perth, like your own hometown, succeed? Because I didn't really have anyone like that. But seeing someone who was from your own city kind of do it already, like, is that something that helped you get over the line, or what do you feel?
100%, man, 100%. It's like you don't see a lot of these young entrepreneurs making it from Perth. Obviously now there's a lot more as you start like developing like your network, you develop like you start expanding out, you see a lot of these young fellas killing it in like different business models. But just like a normal kid doing his part-time job, going to uni, when I saw you killing it, I was like, all right, this stuff actually could work. I'm like, all right, let's give it a shot.
Makes sense. Makes perfect sense. And so you joined, you went all in, you overcame the nerves. Walk me through like what was your first couple days like, your first couple weeks? What did the journey kind of look like, bro, from there?
Yeah, so like the first couple of days was was really nervous and yeah, just started developing like my networking skills,
Yep.
learned like the basics off you, started developing upon like my networking skills. And I actually went away to back home, so I'm originally from India, went back home for about 7 weeks and I'd locked in on networking. I was having multiple calls, like networking calls per day, building upon like my network day by day. And I landed a role after about 1.5 months of networking. So I landed that role in about January. It was completely like a shock to me. I was like, how have I done this? How have I landed a role at this company? Um,
Why is that, bro?
and yeah, so
Why was it a shock to you?
sorry, say it again.
Why was it a shock to you? Why is that?
Why was it a shock? I was just like, I'm a normal kid, man. Like, how have I done this? Like, how have I landed a role at a company that does 7 figures a year? I'm like, how is this possible? It was just like those limiting beliefs that you just have to break through. And I just broke through it. I was like, all right, here it is now. I've got to perform on this offer. Yeah, so I landed that role. And first month I did about 3.5K on that role, and last month did about 4K.
Yeah, solid, bro. Solid. And obviously, like you were traveling away, right? You were in India for around 7 weeks, and most people in that time would honestly go on holiday. Like they wouldn't do anything, or they just kind of give up and
Mm,
enjoy it with the family. I remember you telling me as well. Obviously, like your progress could have been faster if you stayed in Perth and didn't spend time with the family. For sure, it would have been faster. But what
yeah.
made you so motivated to like work even while you're on like vacation, for example? Because people use that as an excuse. I see it all the time.
So when I invested into you and I dropped that money, man, I was just like, what do I do? Because if I stay in Perth, I'm gonna have to go to my current job, which was at that time Coles, which is like a supermarket in Australia, just night filling I was working at. I'm like, if I continue at Perth, like my parents are gonna be like, yo, show up to work. What are you doing? Why are you sitting at home? So I'm like, all right, this is perfect because yes, I get to travel, I get to go see my family whilst being away from work, so I can quote unquote like lock in on this sales stuff. So I believe it worked out pretty well for me. And yeah,
Yeah, 100%. For those of you who don't know, like Coles is like a typical like retail job, pretty much, in Australia. I guess I'm on like you were working at Coles before, and now you've kind of like transitioned out of it. Do you want to tell them a little bit about your journey from transitioning out of the 9 to 5 and why at some points remember you messaging me that it was ridiculous the amount of hours that you put into there and the reward you got compared to like high
Mm.
sales and the hours you were putting in. Like break it down.
Yeah, 100% man. So previously I'd been working at Coles for about 3 years. I started back when I was a young 16, like a 16-year-old
Yeah.
back in high school. Just like I didn't feel like it was right for me. I feel like there was more to it, right? And that's why I chose like sales, all that sort of stuff. Chose like the online world. I wasn't being paid for like my efforts. So I believe I was like one of like the best workers there, and I was still getting paid the exact same amount as someone who was like, pretty shit at their job. So I was just like, this is not fair. I'm like, if that person is earning 25 and I'm doing like double their work, why am I only earning 25? It's just like you don't get paid for your efforts. You just get paid for like however long you work.
Yeah, it makes so much sense. And I think a lot of people they know this. They know that it's trading your time for money, like quote unquote, like kind of a better word, trading your time for money. Everyone knows this, but most people never actually like realize it, you know? And I think for you, correct me if I'm wrong, you kind of realized it when you saw the other side, where you actually had a high income skill that was making you money. And a lot of people can't relate to that right now. So I'd like they'd love to know your perspective. What was that like? What was the difference with making that money in high ticket sales and making money at Coles?
It was definitely like a good feeling, man, because I was like, all right, this online stuff does work. And I'm like, if I continue to bump like my money up, I can actually leave this and I don't have to come back to this for good. And I don't have to see no hate to anyone. I don't have to see like my shitty managers just yelling at me for not doing the work or whatever. Um, yeah, pretty much it, man. It was just like, yeah, didn't, yeah, just kind of got fed up with the place. Just like that 9 to 5, that typical day-to-day cycle, just got fed up. And then when I picked up sales, and I'm like, this is something new, and I want to do this, want to expand, want to scale.
Yeah, no, makes perfect sense, bro. And so for context, how much did you actually make from Coles when you were working like I forgot what it was 20, 30 hours or whatever it was?
Mm.
What were you actually making?
Yeah, so I was on like a 12-hour contract, but I'd end up doing 25 hours every single week, and I was doing that for like 2 years, man.
That's cooked.
Um, yeah, it was like five days a week, 5 hours every day, 25. Earning about 24 bucks or whatever an hour. I think it was like 1,200, 1,400 after tax.
Yeah, is that like a week or a month?
A week. Sorry, a month. So it's like 400 a week.
Yeah, there you go. And then obviously you made in your first month on that offer, You made 3,500. I remember you messaging me, but
Mm.
what did that feel like? I mean, that's almost fucking triple, triple.
Yeah,
I'm like, bro.
it was insane, man. It was insane, just simple as that. As soon as I saw, I'm like, I've just 3x'd my income in a span of a month. I'm like, imagine if I do this for 6 months, 12 months, I can be a lot further.
100%. And like to put into context, guys, like zero, it's not like 4K a month is like an insane amount of money. The reason I wanted to film this case study was because Armaan literally tripled his income that he was making without doing any of the manual labor, physical work, lifting stocks, and bro, all the things that you
Mm.
do in Coles. Um, and your income is consistently scaling. I'm sure I'm going to see you again when you hit 10K, bro. Like that's going to happen very, very soon, going at the rate that you're going, right? Um,
100%, man.
but it's just the ability to make money while you travel, having the freedom. It's a completely different thing, to be honest. Sweet, bro. And so you came into the program, it worked for you. I'd like you to talk more about like your experience with me, bro, as well. To be honest, what did you feel like separated me from the other people that you looked at, like courses, that side of things? What do you feel like was the main difference, and why do you feel like it helped you?
Mm. Originally, I was gonna invest into someone who's quite big in the space and has got like quite a big program.
Yup.
And that was a very hefty price for me at that time. And I was like, nah, I can't do this. Um, and I'd been following you for quite some time, Kashi,
Yeah.
and I didn't know that you're gonna launch like your own like coaching and like your own mentorship. And then obviously I reached out to you one day. I'm like, yo, bro, do you do one-on-ones or something, or do you do like a mentorship? And you're like, yeah, I'm doing like a small group for now. And reason why you stood out was because you were from Perth. It felt it felt like it felt more transparent and like a bit more I don't know what the right word would be, like more real.
Makes sense.
Because you're from like my hometown, like my from my city. And funny enough, man, like I remember you telling me this. Your high school was only like a kilometer away from my high school. So I was like, all right, this guy is yeah. I'm like, he's legit.
I'm like almost certain. I was telling Anand about this. Anand is someone that Aman referred. By the way, we'll get into that in a sec. But I was talking about how I swear I remember seeing Aman on the bus. Like I'm like only a year or two older than you, bro. I remember seeing you on the bus. I swear when I was in like high school, which is insane. Our schools are walking distance apart, right? Which is cool to see. But bro, naturally, I speak to a lot of students that are from even my high school, and people that are in Perth and outside as well. And they all want to make more money. They all want more freedom. They all want more time. But the sad reality is when you look at everyone around you, and you can relate to this, right? People from your own high school, no one ends up actually doing something about it and
Yeah.
making a change. They end up being in the exact same position years and years later, especially when I go to, friends reunions and family reunions and things like that. So,
Yeah.
what do you feel like prevents people from actually growing? Why do you feel like they stay in the same spot? Because I know my reasons, but like I'd like to know your perspective as well.
Fear. I reckon it's fear. Like a big thing is fear. Just like fear of being judged by like your mates,
Mm.
by like your family members, your old high school mates. But at the end of the day, like you've only got a certain amount of hours on this planet. Like everyone's gonna be dead. One day. So it's just like, why not just risk it? Why not just do what you have to do, right? And just like block it out, like block out the hate and just continue.
Yeah, makes sense, man. And I get a lot of these messages, and maybe you get some of them today as well. A lot of people ask me like how to block out what other people think, how to block out their family pressure or societal pressures, and like how to go against the grain. Because
Mm.
everyone knows this, but they don't know how. So for you, how do you feel like you went against the grain? Like obviously it was a very scary decision, and you had a lot of fear as well.
Yeah.
Did you actually overcome that?
Having like a good mentor, someone who's walked the path is definitely good. Another good thing is like a bit of like a brotherhood. So like if you're in like a good network with killers, right, who are making money online, that is also good because you surround yourself with people that are like-minded. Because no offense to like, like my friends, like my family.
Yeah.
They can't see like my vision, like what I'm trying to create. Um, and yeah, just like having like a network, a right mentor. Another one is like my mate Anand. We're very close, and yeah, we go back and forth with anything. Like if someone talks shit about us, we're like, yo, bro, why is that guy doing this? And like, yeah, this just makes it a bit easier if you have like the right people, the right connections.
Yeah, for sure. It's like who you surround yourself with, right? Everyone knows like the famous saying, "You are the
Yeah,
people that you surround yourself with," um, and that's especially true because I've seen your journey. You surround yourself with me, with an aunt, with networking guys, with more people in the space that I connected you with, and you found on your own. Um, it makes perfect sense, bro. Your personality, I don't know if you've noticed. Like, I'd like your comment as well, but I think you've changed a lot in the last couple months, like personality
100%.
and like mindset.
Yeah.
What do you feel?
I feel a lot more confident with sales, man. Like just like a shy kid was just afraid to talk to people. With sales, I've developed upon like my communication skills and I feel more confident. And regarding like my mindset, just surrounding myself with people, who are like-minded and stuff, it's it's wanting me to force myself to push harder.
Yeah, no, it makes perfect sense. Um, let's talk about you referring Anand, man, because that was a very important moment for me. It was actually one of my like first proper referrals that I got from a student. To
Mm,
be honest, so it holds a special place in my heart as well. But what made you want to refer like another student to the program? Walk me through like the process of that.
yeah. So originally, Anand was very skeptical on investing. He didn't have a lot of funds, and I'm like, bro, I'm like, what is the worst that can happen? Right? You go back to your typical part-time job, start earning a bit more money, start, like saving up more, spending less, so you can bring that money back up. Like, what is the worst that can happen? So I just forced him into it, man. I was like, you have to do this. You have to. And he's like, look, dude, I'm scared to invest. I was like, no, just do it. I'm like, just take action. Simple as that. Just take action.
Yeah,
And yeah, reason why I had him referred was I'm like, this guy's legit. He isn't there to take your money or whatever, and just like he's not gonna just like F you off. He's going, yeah, he's legit.
makes sense, bro. And thing is, I've tried to get a lot of my friends into the space. Even when I invested in my first mentor, I've
Mm,
referred a lot of people to him as well. But maybe you've run into this incident where you like tell someone to just do it. Like you want to just shake their head, and go grab them by the shoulders and be like, "Bro, what are you doing? Just do it.
yeah.
Just get into the online space." But they still don't do it. That's something that I feel like it can get very frustrating.
Yeah.
Mm.
That's I'll just give you a little story. So there's Anand and another one of our mates when we're doing that e-commerce stuff.
Uh-huh.
And when we decided to transition into high ticket sales, me and Anand transitioned, but he did not transition. He's like, I want to continue with like my day to day, like my normal job. I'm like, why is that? He's like, I don't know. So it's just like you can't help everyone. Like, yeah, you just can't help everyone, man.
Yeah, 100%. And for those of you that still are listening and haven't clicked off, I'll share a story that's a bit of a tangent, but you and Anand's story sounds scarily similar to mine, like word for word, the same. My high school's 5 minutes away from you. I started off in e-commerce and dropshipping with we were selling candles. Went to be selling candles. It was three guys, me and Bao and another guy. Me and Bao actually went on and did high ticket sales and did very well in the space. But the other guy, this is like 2 years ago, is still in the exact same position and hasn't changed at all. Um, and it was really like eye opening for me to see how you're pretty much the exact same as me, but just like a year ago, 2 years ago.
Mm.
That's it, to be honest. Sick, bro. And so you pulled Anand in, Anand started crushing it. For context, guys, he did hit 4K on your offer as well, right?
Yeah, pretty much four, yeah.
Yeah, hit around 4K on your offer, and he's landed a new role recently. We'll have him on the channel very soon. So Aman, I want to know, like, in your context, bro. Like, now let's get into technical stuff. In terms of like sales skills and what you learnt with me, because there's obviously a lot of sales coaches and things like that. What do you feel like is the most important thing when it comes to like making money with high ticket sales? Like, what do you feel like is the most important thing you need, and what do you feel like is the most like the biggest mistake that people make? If that makes
Mm.
sense, you can be technical with it.
Yeah. The biggest one I reckon is offer, right? Like you hear it all the time, and I'm sure you hear it. A lot of the viewers, they definitely hear it as well. It's the offer itself. You can be an average sales rep on like a very good offer that is printing a lot of cash. You could earn 5 to 10K, even more. Or you could be the best sales rep or setter or whatever on like a very average offer, and you earn like a K, 2K a month. So I believe it's a lot to do with offer. Another thing is daily practice is another thing. So whether you're reviewing your calls to get better, start earning more money. How I did like my reviews was I did it when I was doing cardio on like Stairmaster. I'd pull up like my calls. So I had like a spreadsheet. I'd be like, all right, let's listen to this call because I'm like, what am I going to do on the Stairmaster? Doom scroll TikTok. I was like, might as well just make it productive. So yeah, just like daily reviews or daily practice, role plays, stuff like that.
Yeah, it makes perfect sense. I think like what you said about offer was something that I learned the hard way as well. So that makes perfect sense because I find that, like you were yourself, stuck. A lot of people are stuck on like these cold calling offers or offers that basically make you zero money. You can be the best possible version of sales, but if you don't have the right network, you don't know the right people, and you don't land the correct opportunity, you're just going to be in the exact same spot. You're not going to make money on it. No one knows who you are. It's not the right vehicle for it, right? It's like when these top tech companies in the US or Australia that are, $200,000, $600,000 a year, to land those jobs, 80 to 90% of their employees are hired internally by like
Yeah.
referrals. It's very hard for you to just go and apply on Seek or Indeed or LinkedIn and land a role like that. That's what I noticed.
Yeah. It's it's a funny story, man, because one of my mates that I go to gym with, I was talking about like my experience with like sales. I'm like, yo, man, I'm making this sort of money right now. He's like, oh, that's sick. And next day, we're walking to the gym. He's like, yo, bro, I applied to a bunch of jobs on Seek for setting. I was like, man, I hate to break it to you, but it's not gonna work like that. I was like, you need to be networking. You need to you need to have a good network because all like you said, majority of the jobs and like majority of like the roles are hired internally.
Yeah, no, makes sense. Um, and I guess like on that, what do you feel like is the biggest mistake as well that people do, apart from like mentor and that side of things, like technically, like skill wise, what do you think is the biggest mistake that people make in like the sales space
Hmm. Biggest mistake they make.
that you've seen around you?
Biggest one I've seen personally, and even Anand, I'm just gonna throw us two out there,
Yeah,
and I reckon a lot of other setters and stuff have this as well. It's a mentality thing. Like I know when I had a few bad days and I wasn't making any money, I think for like a whole week I made zero money. Like, yeah, I was making like my base money for whatever, but I was zero comms for a whole week, zero sales, zero piffs, zero nothing. And I just started, it just started catching up to me. I'm like, is this even going to work? Does this actually work? And then I remember I DM'd you. I'm like, Kashi, this is how I feel, man. I feel pretty low. I'm like, not making any money. And he actually told me, it's like, you're like, it's normal. This is totally normal. You just have to keep showing up. Just keep putting like one foot ahead. And yeah, just keep showing up. So yeah, I reckon that is like one of the biggest things is that a lot of like the setters and reps or whatever, they let it get to them.
100%. I remember that
I hope that, yeah, I hope that makes sense, man.
because
I think I rambled on there.
I remember that message, and I think on that day you hit like a piff or two or something. And on that week it was like you were solid. It was like a record week for you. That just goes
Yeah.
to show. It's just a lot of it is up here. It's all mentality, to be honest. That makes sense. I guess the biggest mistake that I've seen in this space is people just like messaging. People that just don't. You can tell that they don't have a mentor or they don't have anyone that's actually taught them, and they just message you like, "Hey, bro, do you have a role?" or "Hey, do you have an
Mm.
offer?" I'm sure you can relate to that. But that's the biggest mistake I see is people just straight away asking for roles or not having any experience, no personal brand, no network behind them, and they just expect things to be handed to them.
Yeah,
It just doesn't work that way, to be honest.
exactly.
It's an actual skill to land opportunities, right? Cool. Also, bro, like I'd like to get into your head because you've gone through the same process and I've gone through it. A lot of people that listen to this, they're like, I want to do this. I want to go all in. I see Armaan doing it, but I still have like that nerves. Like I still want to think about it. I still want to go and speak to other people or try it myself first. What do you have to say? Like, what piece of advice would you give to them for anyone that's like sitting on the fence? Because I'm sure a lot of people are.
Yeah. Look, it's like it's the ball is in your court, right? Like you have to take the risk. As painful as it is, you have to take the risk. And you have to, invest into a mentor or just put yourself out there, whether like your personal brand, whatever it is. You have to do it because if you don't, you're going to be in the same position for the next 6 months, 12 months, 5 years. You're just going to be there. It's just going to be stagnant, man. It's just going to be like still. So yeah, like you have to do it, man. As painful as it is, you have to.
Yeah, no, I agree. Like that reminds me when I invested in my first mentor, something that he told me stuck with me for a while, and I think it was like we were hopping on a call very similar to this, and it was like, what's riskier? Like genuinely, it was my first time hearing this. Like, what's riskier? Is it riskier to stay where you are, do the same thing over and over and over again, like you've done for the last couple of years, but expect a different
Yeah.
result? Or is it riskier to invest in yourself, like feel the squeeze for a moment, but at the end of the day, potentially change the rest of your life, right?
Mm.
That's really what it's all about, and that stuck with me for a long time, to be honest.
I'm just gonna throw this out there, Kashi. A lot of the times when I talk to like my friends or just from high school and stuff, a lot of them say, "Well, isn't this online stuff? Isn't it saturated? Like, isn't e-commerce saturated? Isn't high ticket sales saturated?" And what I usually say back, I'm like, "Isn't uni saturated, bro? Like, you're at uni. There's so many uni students. Like my old uni, I think what it was like 60,000 students enrolled in like the year. Let's just say 10,000 new students come out with like a commerce degree. How many jobs are opening up in Perth for commerce? I don't know, 2,000, 3,000. What happens to the other what 6, 7,000? They go work at Macca's or they go work like a shitty job. So if you're thinking that it's saturated, so is everything else. You just have to be better and you have to be I know it sounds cliche as man, and it's like you got to be better than
Yeah, yeah, that makes as cliche as it sounds. Like you just have to, you just have to be the top 1%. Because I always think of it as like a sheep mentality, right?
mm,
Everyone just follows the crowd. Everyone follows what everyone else is doing. But the thing is, if you do what everyone else is doing, you're just going to end up being the average, if not below average, right? That's what it's
exactly.
gonna be. Sometimes, like to get really crazy results, like time freedom, location freedom, ability to travel anywhere, and financial freedom, having that is very rare. Like it's not common to be able to travel around and make money and make six figures a year. Like that is very hard to do. So you're gonna have to make decisions and do actions that are completely opposite to the crowd, right? 100%. Yeah, and coming back to like jobs, bro, and saturation. Again, no hate to anyone that does a 9 to 5 or goes to university. I think it definitely works for sure. Like if that's what you want to go down.
Yeah.
But for the people that are doing a degree like commerce, or engineering or like just a standard degree, and they just don't know where they want to go in life, or they're not really sure what their future looks like, but they want these goals of money, time, and freedom.
Mm.
You shouldn't just be wasting your life away, to be honest, for 3, 4, 5 years.
Yeah. It's
What,
just like,
what,
yeah, 5 years, man. You're wasting your life. A lot can change in 3 to 5 years. Like, look at you, Kashi. You what? Been in the space for about 2 years?
yeah, 2 years.
Correct me if I'm wrong. 2 years? Yeah. Look at you. You're traveling the world, making money online. That is like a lot of people's dream. Just look at me in like 2, 3 months, 4 months of being in like the sales space. I've quit like my part-time job and I've quit uni.
Yeah, exactly, man. And it only gets more and more. That's the thing. Like, this is
Mm.
exactly where I started off, in a very similar position to you, and it just keeps compounding and compounding and compounding as you go, right? Um, yeah, that makes perfect sense. And I'm sure a lot of people would love to know like your journey and your goals and where you want to be, bro. Because I
Mm.
started planning stuff when I made my first money online. You start dreaming a lot more, right?
Mm.
Where does Aman want to be? Like, let's say 6 months down the line, like end of the year, let's say.
End of the year.
Where do you want to be?
Gotcha, man.
What is the next goal?
End End of the year, I'm looking money wise to be at minimum 10K a month from sales. Yeah, so 10K a month. Location wise, I want to be somewhat flexible. So Perth, and then I'm going to be moving back to India for some time very soon in about 2, 3 months. Going to spend 2 to 3 months there,
Goal.
change up like my location, start earning more money, and then maybe come back to Perth. Maybe Bali, stuff like that. Yeah, those are like the two biggest one for me right now.
Yeah,
So 10K a month and location.
bro, that puts a smile on my face. I remember when I first moved out of Perth and went to Asia. First place I went to ever outside of Perth while making money online was Thailand, and it was like surreal to me that I could do that. It was very surreal. Like, on my
Mm,
own, the ability to do that, and just a dollar goes so far in Southeast Asia than it does in Perth, right?
yeah, it's
If you're
crazy. Yeah.
if you're making 4K a month like you are, bro, I know people that make that amount of money in high ticket sales that live a very good life in Bali, Thailand, and they keep increasing their income. Making six figures, like 10 grand a month, is a lot of money in a place like Thailand and Bali. You can live like a king,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, you can live like a king.
Yeah, exactly. Sweet, bro. I think we'll wrap it up there. That was hope you guys found some value out of that, like Arman's journey. Even though it's not a crazy amount of money, I kind of wanted to show like someone who's beginner into the space, young, able to quit his job, about to go travel overseas, and he's going to hit 10K a month. I think this will be a really good value for you guys that can relate to him, that are in high school and in university, kind of lost with where to go. Hopefully, you got some value from that. If you have any questions or anything like that, DM me on Instagram, like leave a comment below or anything. And yeah, I'll see you next time.